Yo Gotti might be next cause word on the street is the feds are quietly lining up an indictment against him for the murder of young Dolph. The biggest clue is coming straight out of the courtroom where Hernandez-Gobin's trial is about to shake the game up. Some believe Gon already cooperated, possibly pointing fingers at Yodi and his brother Big Jook, who conveniently ended up dead not long after those rumors started. So was Big Jook silenced to save Yo Gotti? Cause let's be real, everything was going too perfect for Gotti to risk going down. He had his dream girl, Angela Simmons. CMG was winning and his artists were on top. He wasn't trying to lose it all over an old beef. So, did he make a move to clean up the loose ends? Let's talk about that upcoming trial. After getting pushed back more times than a mixtape that ain't ready, Gobin's trial is now officially set to begin on August 18, 2025, just days away. He's not just some small-time suspect either. He's facing first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and even attempted murder for masterminding the hit on Dolph back in 2021. Now, it gets weird when you find out that the entire case is partially sealed. On July 29, the presiding judge, Jennifer Mitchell, locked the motions and rulings behind closed doors. No public access, just silence. And no one's explained why. That's not normal. Especially in a high-profile case tied to one of the most beloved rappers out of Memphis. When courtrooms go quiet like that, it usually means deals are being made or names are being protected. But here's the part that really got the streets talking. Gon is out on bond, just walking around chilling on a $90,000 bond even after violating it. The man behind a Heil murder plot is the only one out of all the co-defendants who's been granted bond and reinstated after breaking the rules. Meanwhile, cats like Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith are still sitting in jail fighting for crumbs. See, people close to the case believe this ain't just about legal strategy. This might be a sign that Gavin already gave the feds what they needed, that he cooperated, maybe even dropped names like Big Jook or Yodi. And when you consider the timing, sealed documents, reinstated bond, and a trial about to begin with the key witness walking free, that's not just unusual, that's strategic. This trial is about to reopen the Dolph case in a way we haven't seen since 2021. And if Yodi's name gets dropped inside that courtroom, this could be the biggest fall in Memphis rap history. Now, here's where things really start pointing in one direction, and that's straight at Yo Gotti. People aren't just guessing. Prosecutors in the young Dolph murder case have openly said that Big Jook put up $100,000 to make Dolph disappear. According to court documents and street chatter, Hernandez-Gon was the middleman, the one who connected the killers to the cash and the target. In other words, Gon played chess while Big Jook moved the pieces and CMG might have been the board the whole time. So, when the hit went down in 2021 and those two suspects pulled the trigger, they were reportedly expecting $100K. But here's the twist. They only got $800 to $1,500 each. And it came from Jook, not Gotti directly. That one detail has everybody asking, was this a CMG-financed hit, or did Jook act on his own? Because if the money trail points back to CMG, even through Jook, then Yo Gotti's entire empire is suddenly standing in federal crosshairs. This ain't about rap beef anymore. It's an organized conspiracy. And it gets darker. Big Jook was murdered in January 2024, less than a year before Gon's trial. And the timing is sketchy. Gon had already been arrested. Whispers were growing that he might flip. And then Jook gets taken out. Some say it was retaliation. Dolph's guys getting revenge. Others think it was a cleanup job. Someone taking Jook off the board before he could be used as evidence against bigger names. And when you put that together with the fact that Gobin's trial is sealed and that he's out on bond, that Yo Gotti hasn't said a word about Jook's death, the silence starts sounding a lot like strategy. Yo Gotti's been playing it cool in public.
Simmons, are you telling me right now you're in your single girl era again?
Yeah, I'm telling you that.
Just weeks before Hernandez-Gon's trial was finally set to begin, Angela confirmed that she and Gotti were officially done. No drama, just a soft-spoken breakup with phrases like all love and it was my choice. But anybody paying attention could feel the tension underneath that statement. Her explanation about being in a growing and healing season, combined with the fact that her exit came right before one of the biggest legal moments in Yodi's career, said more than any headline ever could. And while some blamed Gotti's packed schedule or closeness with Gorilla, others saw something else brewing. Legal heat. The kind that makes public figures start calculating who they stand next to and what it might cost. Angela knows the game, and the last thing she can afford is to be linked to a federal indictment, especially one tied to a high-profile murder case and an ongoing criminal investigation. If things go left for Gotti, the headlines won't just hit him. They'll splash onto anyone in the frame with him. Her decision to leave when she did doesn't feel like coincidence, more like strategy. A way to quietly step out of the blast zone before anything explodes. And now that Angela's out of the picture, he's more alone than ever. No brother, no ride or die. Just pressure, heat, and a trial creeping closer. But Angela ain't the only person around Gotti who went missing. Black Youngster did, too. You don't need a headline to know something's off. All you got to do is scroll through Black Youngster's Instagram. The same man who used to go viral for flexing stacks, trolling rivals, and turning every post into a movie has gone dead silent. For someone who built a whole persona around being loud and wanting to take out Dolph, this sudden quiet isn't just strange, it's unsettling. In 2025, Youngster's presence has nearly vanished, and fans are starting to notice. Industry insiders are noticing, too. Some say he's just laying low on purpose, maybe under orders from Gotti himself, trying not to draw more heat while the governed trial inches closer. Others think it's deeper than that. There's even talk that he might already be under legal restrictions, or worse, already in custody. And it's not just him. CMG as a whole feels different. The label's tone has shifted. Gotti's name isn't being shouted out like before. The branding is cleaner, more neutral. There's a sense that the entire team is moving quiet on purpose, like they know a storm is coming and they don't want to get caught in the flood. Youngster's silence is especially loud considering his history with Dolph. These two had tension, disrespect, and direct shots thrown back and forth. If anybody had something to say, it would have been him. Whether it's loyalty, fear, or legal strategy, no one knows for sure, but the timing lines up with everything else that's happening. The moves being made around CMG don't look random anymore. They look like part of a pattern. If you've been paying attention to how the feds build cases, you already know how this game goes. They start at the bottom and they work their way up. It's textbook. First they go after the shooters, then the middlemen, then the money guys, and finally when the structure's exposed and the loyalty's cracked, they move on the boss. Right now, Gotti is starting to look like the end target. We've already seen how it's playing out. Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith, one of them flipped, gave up key details about promised money and who gave the orders. That's federal leverage of the sort that turns a life sentence into a bargaining chip. Now, the focus is on Hernandez Gone. If he's cooperating, then the feds are looking at who funded, planned, and signed off the hit on Dolph. If Gone turned over text messages, Cash App receipts, or anything linking payments back to CMG leadership, that's RICO material. Once they can show that a hit was organized, financed, and carried out through a structured crew, it turns the whole operation into a criminal enterprise. The pressure is real, and it's rising fast. But all of this God and CMG mess ties back to the murder of Dolph, who gunned down in broad daylight at Makita's homemade butter cookies in 2021. What started as a tragedy is now unraveling into what looks like a carefully structured criminal operation. One that's getting picked apart piece by piece. If prosecutors can connect those dots, this stops being a local case and turns into a RICO case targeting a structured criminal operation from shooters all the way up to executives. And if that happens, Yo Gotti's name doesn't just come up, it gets written in bold. That indictment would rock the Memphis rap scene to its core. There's no indictment yet, but the behavior around Gotti is already matching the pattern of someone preparing for one. Gotti isn't just being quiet on social media. He's making himself invisible. This is the same dude who once prided himself on being the face of Memphis. From red carpets to Rolling Loud, is now reduced to shadows. And that kind of pullback only happens when there's legal moves involved. Gotti's inner circle is already collapsing. Jook was executed in the open just as whispers of cooperation were picking up. Black Youngster vanished without explanation and Angela left Gotti just weeks before Gone's trial date was announced. These exits look like fallout. Here's what makes this dangerous for Gotti. Cornelius Smith already testified that Big Jook promised $100,000 to take out Gavin is